Hello everyone, welcome back to Vigyan Academy for Maths and Science. I'm Shraddha Pandey and in this video we are going to talk about solution, and this topic is taken from 4th Standard Science of Eschan publication textbook of ICSE board. In this lesson we are going to cover the objectives are solution, method of separation, separating an insoluble solid from liquid, sedimentation and decantation, filtration, separating a soluble solid from liquid, and also evaporation. Let's understand what is solution. If a little sugar is added to a glass of water and stirred, what will happen? The sugar dissolves in water, and we get a solution of a sugar in water. However, if some sand is added in water, does the sand is going to dissolve in water? No, the sand does not dissolve no matter how much you stir it. Sugar is a solute. The substance that dissolves in liquid to form a solution is called a solute. A solute can be solid, liquid, or gas. Water is a solvent. The liquid in which a solute dissolves is called a solvent. Water is also known as a universal solvent as it can dissolve many substances in it. Petrol is also a solvent. Water and sugar form a solution. A solution is the mixture formed when a solute dissolved in a solvent. Some examples of solution are: sugar is soluble in water. A substance that dissolves in a liquid is soluble in the liquid. As we can see in this image, sugar is a solute which gets dissolved in water, which is a solvent, and water and sugar together forming a solution of a sugar water. Some other substances that are soluble in water are salt, soap, dishwashing liquid, orange juice, and coffee. Sand is insoluble in water. As we have discussed earlier, if we are adding sand and water and stirring it, it doesn't get dissolved in water. So the substance that does not dissolve in liquid is insoluble in the liquid. Like mud, turmeric, chalk, and oil are some other substances which are insoluble in water. Take a little water in a glass, add some cooking oil to it. Stir the mixture and let it stand for some time. Do the water and oil separate out after some time? Yes, they separate out. Which layer is on top, oil or water? As we can see in this image, oil is on the top. This shows that oil is insoluble in water, as oil gets separated from water. Now we will have a look on the method of separation. Sometimes we have to separate soluble and insoluble substances from a solution. For example, we have to separate insoluble sand or mud from water we use at home. Also, the salt we eat is made by separating it out from seawater. There are two ways of separation. First is for separating an insoluble solid from a liquid, and second is for separating a soluble solid from a liquid. Let's have a look on separating an insoluble solid from liquid. To separate an insoluble solid from a liquid, first method is sedimentation and decantation. For this method, we will take some water in a beaker and mix a little sand in it. Now do not disturb the beaker. The sand that settles down is called sediment. The process of settling down of a heavy insoluble particles in a liquid is called sedimentation. After sedimentation has happened, carefully pour out the liquid on top by settling the beaker. This is known as decantation. As we can see in this image, the sand has already settled down in the beaker, and that is called as sediments, and the upper clean water is called as supernatant. And the process of settling down of sand in a beaker is called as sedimentation, whereas the process of pouring out clean water in another beaker is called as decantation. So, separating a mixture of sand and water using sedimentation and decantation method is used to separate an insoluble solid from liquid, and this method is used to separate heavy insoluble particle from a liquid. Now next is filtration. This is another method to separate an insoluble solid from liquid. We cannot separate a mixture of water and tea leaves by sedimentation and decantation method because tea leaves are not going to settle down. And this is because many of tea leaves will float on water. We can separate them by pouring the mixture through a sieve. A sieve has fine hole. Water can pass through the hole, but tea leaves cannot. The tea leaves get left behind on the sieve. How you will separate a mixture of a sand and water? Can we use the same sieve? No. And why not? The sand particles are very small and they can pass through the holes of the sieve. So that's why we use another method of filtration for sand and water. And even we use sedimentation and decantation method for sand and water. So let's have a look on the another method of filtration for sand and water. We need a sieve with very fine hole to separate sand and water. We can use a filter paper for this. It has very fine hole. Take a circular filter paper, fold it twice and open it out to form a cone. As we can see over here, the filter paper is used in the form of cone. Put it into a glass funnel. This is a glass funnel in which we have to put this filter paper. Put a beaker below the funnel and then we have to put this beaker just below this funnel. Pour the mixture of a water and sand into the funnel a little at a time, as we can see in this image. Clean water drip into the beaker. The sand is left on the filter paper. As we can see, clean water is getting collected into the beaker and sand will remain on filter paper. This process is also known as filtration. Now we will have a look on separating a soluble solid from liquid. Separating a soluble solid from a liquid, we have a solution of salt and water. And we want to get the salt back. How will we do this? We know that when we heat water, it evaporates. If we evaporate all the water in a solution of a salt and water, then we will get the salt back. So now we are going to talk about the process of evaporation. Dissolve a teaspoon of a salt in a little water. Pour the water in a shallow bowl or an evaporating dish. Heat the bowl over a flame. The water will slowly evaporate. Let the water evaporate completely. Is there a white residue left behind in the dish? Yes. Separate it out and taste it. Is it salt? Yes, it is salt. We have got back the salt from a solution of a salt in water by evaporation process. Now let's have a summary of this lesson. In this lesson, we have learned about solution, solvent, solute. Then we have seen method of separating insoluble solid from liquid by sedimentation and decantation method, through filtration method, and also we have seen process of separating soluble solid from liquid through evaporation process. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe my channel, and even don't forget to press the bell icon to get the latest update of my channel.